captains of Africa, but it is a soaking wet night this evening as the last place in the 2025-26 Africa Cup of Nations quarterfinals is up for grabs here between Nigeria and Mozambique. Nigeria, who have won all three of their group games, come into this one as heavy favourites against the mighty Mambas, who only qualified for this stage as the best third place team, having won 1 and lost 2 in their group stage. For Nigeria, well, their manager Eric Chelle makes 9 changes from their final group stage win. That was a 3-1 win over Uganda, which they had already got their place secured. The only players keeping their place on that side are Calvin Bassey and Bruno Onyemaechi at the back. The full lineup then in goal, it's Stanley Nwabali, plays for Chippa United in South Africa. Across the back then, a real English flavour with Bright Osei Samuel of Birmingham, Semi Ajayi of Hull alongside Fulham's Bassey, with Olympiakos' Onyemaechi at left back. The captain, Wilfred Ndidi, of course formerly of Leicester, now of Besiktas, is joined in midfield by another Fulham man, Alex Iwobi, and Frank Onyeka of Brentford. And up front it is a dangerous front three, as dangerous as they come in African football, if not world football, with Atalanta's Ademola Lookman in support of Akor Adams of Sevilla, and of course Victor Osimhen leading the line from Galatasaray. For Mozambique, they also make 8 changes. Their manager Conde Chiquinho has guided his country to a first ever knockout stage in the African Cup of Nations, having won their first ever game at the African Cup of Nations. That was game 2 against Gabon, a 3-2 victory, which was sandwiched in between a 1-0 defeat to the Ivory Coast and a 2-1 defeat to Cameroon in a final group game on New Year's Eve that did nothing to stop them from getting into this next round. In goal, they've got Hernan Sulane. Across the back then is a boost for Mozambique is Diogo Kalila, who went off injured in that game against Cameroon, is past fit. He's at right back. At left back is Bruno Langa of Paphos, and in the middle then it's Sunderland's Reinildo Mandava, of course formerly of Atletico Madrid, and he's alongside Mexer. In midfield then it's Alphonse Amade, who plays his club football for Dunfermline in Scotland under Neil Lennon. He's joined there by Guima, who plays for Zira in Azerbaijan, and the captain, 42 years young, Dominguez, playing for UD Songo in the domestic league. Up front then, leading the line is Faisal Bangal, who scored in that victory over Gabon, who plays his club football in the 4th tier in Italy for Mestre, but he's joined by 2 Dangerman Witty of Nacional in the Portuguese Primera, and the talisman for Mozambique, Jani Katamo of Sporting. So we're almost ready to get underway here. A referee this evening from Cameroon is Mr. Abdou Mefre, and it's only Mozambique in all white with red trim who'll get us going, playing right to left. Nigeria in that dark black, almost green, dark green, almost black shirt with the green design on it. And just before we start here, that man Reinildo Mandava, I think, found a foreign object on the pitch. I'm not sure how it got there. A big running track around the edge of this pitch, and not a huge crowd here in Fez, perhaps more normally known in English pronounced as Fez. Yes, the famous Moroccan Fez hats are from here. As I mentioned, the city with the oldest university in the world here in the northeast of the country. And Abdou Mefre, I can't quite work out, it looks like a bolt or a screw has been left on the pitch, so that's been removed, and that was what has delayed kick-off here just by a moment or two. And the players now just, well, knocking a ball around between themselves on the pitch here, as we're almost ready to get going. These sides have met 5 times before, with Nigeria winning 4 and 1 draw. However, in 3 of those 4 games, Mozambique have come only a goal behind, so it's been a competitive fixture at least. The rain is just pelting down here. Eric Chelle standing on the sideline in his big winter coat, the Mali-born head coach, and there's Conde Chiquinho, the Mozambique head coach. He's perhaps a little bit wiser. He's standing in under the shade of the dugout. I'm not quite sure what the delay is here now. So we found what looked like a screw or a bolt on the pitch, but I thought that had been removed. I see what the issue is here now. One of the goal nets has come loose from the post, so a good bit of masking tape will do the job. keep that one together. Oh, it's a CAF, of course, the Federation's own branded tape. They have own tape ready for such situations. That's a difficult job on a wet day. Ever tried to put sellotape out in the wet? That's a difficult job there for that man. He's out soaking wet on his haunches there, taping the nets to the post. As the player still just knocking a ball around, but the rest of those balls seem to have been kicked to the side. Clearly the Confederation branded tape doing its job. And we're almost ready to go. Even our referee, Mr. Meffre, is doing a few exercises to keep him warm. And now the countdown on the screen. 3, 2, 1. And we are ready to go here in Fes. Nigeria versus Mozambique. The round of 16 at the Africa Cup of Nations. I'm Mark Strange. Very rude of me, didn't even introduce myself. Here for you live on Flash Score Official. You're very welcome along to this evening's broadcast. Nigeria, as I said, heavy favourites. They're on the ball early here. The captain, Ndidi. There's Lookman back to Ndidi, midway inside the Mozambique half. Rolls it over to the left to Bassi. The Semi Ajayi, who is actually on the score sheet in their opening group stage win, a 2-1 victory over Tanzania. The Hull City defender, along with Ademola Lookman. Here he is in the centre circle now. Ajayi to Osei Samuel, back playing in England. The former Arsenal Youth Academy product after a stint in Turkey with Fenerbahce under Jose Mourinho. This is the final game for today. There's a cross in deep, and that's well head by Hernan Silwani, the Mozambique goalkeeper. So here's a ball into the back post. Oh, it's going to be 1-0 for Nigeria. Offside is claimed by the Mozambique defence. It's Victor Osimhen who's finished it, and offside is given against the Galatasaray forward. Nigeria, less than 2 minutes in, thought they were ahead there. But not to be indeed. He is offside at the back post there, Osimhen, on the end of Onyeka's ball through. He can't believe it, but I think when he sees it back, he'll realise indeed he was offside. So Nigeria thought they were ahead with an early goal there, but not so. So now out onto the left hand side. Here come Mozambique with Dominguez, their captain. Out onto the left hand side for Whitty, who, as I mentioned, plays his club football in Portugal for Nacional. He cuts inside. It's back to Guima. Guima gives it away though, and now here comes Lookman for Nigeria. Lookman over the top for Osimhen. Osimhen looking to outpace Renildo Mandava, who I'm sure the Sunderland defender has been tasked with keeping him quiet, and he does a good job there. And the ball rebounding back out off Osimhen for a goal kick. Victor Osimhen, of course, formerly of Napoli. Chased by many in Europe. It was a few eyebrows raised whenever he ended up in Turkey with Galatasaray, but has seemingly enjoyed his time over there. He's back after originally joining on loan. He made that deal permanent at the beginning of this season. Here's Langa. Dominguez spreads it out on the right hand side for Diogo Kalila. Plays for Santa Clara, also in the Portuguese top flight. As I mentioned, was a doubt for this one after picking up an injury in their final group game against Cameroon, but was pulled through for this one. Here's Langa now, the left back, on loan in Cyprus at Paphos from Almeria. There's a strong challenge there. Ndidi and Onyeka just squeezing out Whitty there, and that's going to be a free kick to Mozambique just inside the Nigeria half. I think don't think Onyeka really needed to get involved there. I think his captain had that one under control, but in the end he just sort of, as I mentioned, he sandwiches the Mozambique winger in between the two, and it's a certain free kick for the mighty Mambas. There's a ball over the top there looking for Jenny Katamo. A sporting forward who really is the man to watch in this Mozambique side. He scored 2 of their 4 goals in the group. And he won in the victory against Gabon, and then their solitary goal in that 2-1 defeat to Cameroon in the final group game. 5 minutes gone here in Fes. A wet evening in the northeast of Morocco as Nigeria 0, Mozambique 0. You're listening to live Africa Cup of Nations here, round of 16 play as that ball's through. Looking for the run there of Faisal Bangal, but that's too long. I'll go into the gloves of Stanley Nwabali. And now here's a J for Nigeria. Socks are around his shins, just below the knees. He arrows a pass out onto the left hand touchline there and finds his left back Bruno Onyemeche. And there's a Wobie for Osimhen. Whoa, I'm not quite sure what that was from Victor Osimhen. He just it's like the ball came off him there like a trampoline, just bounced right out. Now, well, the reason for that is actually took a touch off a Mozambique defender on the way. So, throw in on the left-hand side, midway inside the Mozambique half for the Super Eagles. There's a J, and now I'll say Samuel. Back to a J. Threads the pass there, looking for Onyeka, and does find him via deflection off Langa. Now here's a Wobie for Osimhen. Good challenge, though. And still here for a Wobie, curls one. Ooh, that's just wide. In fact, did that get a touch? Indeed it did. A good save there from Hernan Silwane in the Mozambique goal. Flying save to his right hand side, the man dressed in all blue this evening. That was just a reaction strike there from a Wobie after Langa had intercepted a pass and diverted it in his direction, but tipped wide there by the Mozambique goalkeeper. And that's going to be a corner kick to Nigeria. It's going to be a right-footed in-swinging corner here from Ademola Lookman. In it comes, a good one over the head of a J, though, and I think that's going to run all the way out for a goal kick on the far side. Indeed it does. Dangerous delivery there from Lookman, but a J just couldn't get up for it. And it's 6.5 minutes gone here in Fes. And indeed, well, Victor Osimhen was... Well, he could have probably driven a bus between him and the last Mozambique defender. When you see it like that, it's not as close as even as initially looked, but he had the ball in the net after less than 2 minutes, but correctly ruled out for offside by our Cameroonian officiating team, who had to deal with a stray object on the pitch and also a net coming away from the post early in this one. That's going to be a throw in now to Nigeria on the left hand side there, to be taken by Onyemeche. So Mozambique, of course, not exactly renowned as a world footballing power, however, one of the great footballers of all time. Certainly was Portugal's greatest of all time, perhaps until a certain Mr. Cristiano Ronaldo came along. Eusebio, born in Mozambique, of course, was once a Portuguese colony. He ended up moving to Portugal, playing for Benfica, and the rest is history. Now here comes Lookman for Nigeria, midway inside the Mozambique half. Looks for Osimhen. Good challenge there, though, by Mandava, and he steps out of defence as well to take it away confidently. Renildo Mandava over the halfway line here now for Mozambique. Plays out on the left-hand touchline for Whitty. Mandava has continued his run ahead of him, but Whitty will go back there to Bruno Langa on the halfway line, just on the left touchline. He'll just slow it all the way down. That maybe allow his defensive partner to get back into position. There is Guima. And midway inside his own half, under pressure from Osimhen, so he goes back to his goalkeeper right on the edge of the box there, Hernan Silwane. As I mentioned, all in light blue this evening. His opposite number, Stanley Nwabali, he's all in purple this evening. The only man in the starting 11 this evening. In fact, the only man, only the goalkeepers who don't play their club football in Europe for Nigeria. Stanley Nwabali, as I mentioned, playing his club football in South Africa for Chippa United. So we throw in here on the left hand side to be taken by Onyemeche. Cor Adams now, first real touch for him. Good strong play from the Sevilla forward, and he's won himself a free kick, and Mozambique don't agree with that one, but free kick given by our Cameroonian official. Lots of raised eyebrows and protestations from the men in white and red. In fact, it's a handball. That's what the claim is, not a foul indeed. It was a handball by Alphonse Amade. And we're going to have free kick here then to Nigeria, around 23, 25 and 30 yards from goal, just left of the edge of the penalty area. So there's green and black shirts and white and red shirts lined up along the edge of the 18-yard box as the rain continues to hammer down here at the Complexe Sportif de Fès. It's going to be Lookman. Actually, he's going to leave it for Onyemeche. In comes the delivery, headed over his own crossbar there by Diogo Khalili, and that's going to be a corner kick for Nigeria. 10 minutes gone here now. Still goalless in this Africa Cup of Nations round of 16 clash. I'm Mark Strange. Thanks for joining me this evening, wherever you are in the world. Nigeria putting the pressure on here early. Lookman is going to make his way over to the far side to take this corner. It's going to be a right-footed outswinger for the Atalanta man. Of course, formerly of Everton and Fulham, Charlton among others in England. A right-footed outswinger from Lookman is deep in there. A header down from Ajayi and is off the line this time by a Mozambique defender. And they'll bring it away here now with Whitty, who looks for Faisal Bangal, and he's fast, and it takes a good sliding challenge there from Bright Osei Samuel to steal that one out for a throw-in. I apologize, that was actually Jani Katamo who got away there, not Bangal. But a good breakaway. The header down it was from Ajayi, down into the ground. Off the line, in the right position was Bruno Langa. Here he is taking a throw in now after that slide challenge from Osei Samuel. Ndidi to Onyeka. A challenge again from Langa, and that's a harsh call there, I think, against the Mozambique defender. That looked like a fairly clean challenge on Frank Onyeka, and if I'm being honest, the replay doesn't convince me to change my mind at all. But free kick it is to Nigeria, who of course will not be at next summer's World Cup, despite this star-studded squad that they have. The Super Eagles fell at the last hurdle in qualifying, losing on penalties to the Democratic Republic of Congo, meaning that they will not be participating next summer in North America. But they'll be hoping to perhaps go all the way in this tournament and ease up blue somewhat. That only happened in November, so it's still fresh, their missed qualification. But they certainly seem to take out their anger in the group stages. Here's Osei Samuel, chested down by Lookman, and Ndidi, and Adams out on the right hand touchline midway inside the Mozambique half. That looks like a throw in to Nigeria. It is indeed. Adams challenging out there with Whitty. The last touch comes off Mozambique. They've won it back here. Dominguez, their captain. Back to Langa, who has to hurriedly clear that one away. Good challenge from Onyeka, who's wrestled to the ground there by Whitty, as the two of them went for that one. It's now back with Bassi on halfway. It will be the Fulham teammates linking up there. Left footed cross in. Ooh, it nearly fell for Osimhen or Adams. Now Lookman on the edge of the box, looking to make space. Blocked. Good diving block by Mandava. Back to Lookman again. Osimhen along the ground. Deflected behind this time by Mandava. And it's going to be a corner kick there to Nigeria. The Sunderland defender on a one-man mission there to stop Nigeria. Originally blocking Lookman's effort with a brave dive in front of him before Osimhen's shot ricocheted off both of his ankles and his legs and trickled out for a corner kick. So it's going to be another right-footed in-swinger here from Ademola Lookman. Trying to aim out in the middle. In it comes, another good delivery. Headed away, though, only as far as Onyeka, but he can't bring it under control. And Diogo Khalili just hurriedly swipes that one away for a throw-in on the right-hand side. Bit of skill there from Conde Chiquinho, the Mozambique head coach there, to give that ball to Bright Osei Samuel, but he's going to leave it for Frank Onyeka, who's going to dry this ball off, and I believe he's going to try and launch one into the middle here, the Brentford man. It's going to take some drying, I must say, and I'm not even sure doing it with the inside of his shirt. is going to do it. Now he gets a towel this time. Conde Chiquinho almost in his ear there, roaring instructions. And now Onyeka, plenty of room around the edge of the pitch. I mentioned a running track and a big run off here and a big run up from Onyeka. It's a really long throw, but well headed away there, and it's a free kick to Mozambique. Referee seeing a foul in there somewhere, so free kick just on the edge of their own penalty area for Mozambique as we approach the quarter hour mark here. Nigeria 0, Mozambique 0. Live African Cup of Nations round of 16 action. Live on Flash Score Official. I'm Mark Strange, delighted to have you along with me this evening. In fact, it's going to be given as a throw in here to Mozambique. Perhaps a foul throw by Onyeka, not quite sure, but either way, away it comes here. Now there's Guima. Bruno Langa, who takes that one away from Onyeka, who then takes Bruno Langa's ankles away from him. So free kick to the men in white and red. Their usual colours, red home shirt with black shorts for the mighty Mambas, but with Nigeria in their dark green this evening. They're in their change strip, and now here come Nigeria. Adams holds off the challenge of Guima. Adams still going, heavy touch from Adams, and Mandava nips off his toe. But he has to be careful because Adams is coming back for revenge here. Mandava finds Guima under pressure. Lovely footwork there from him, and now Mozambique are midway inside the Nigeria half. Good counter-attack from Conde Chiquinho's men. On the right-hand side now is Katamo. Right corner of the penalty area to Dominguez on the edge of the box. No space for a shot, so he clips one into the back post, headed up into the air, not really away by Onyemeche, and Ajay volleys it anywhere, and that's a bit more promising there for Conde Chiquinho's men, who have been under the cosh largely from the off here. Of course, Nigeria did have the ball back in the net, but early on, but also men well offside. And outside of that, hasn't been too many real grade A chances, you would say, for the Super Eagles. Alex Iwobi had that snapshot on the edge of the box that Hernan Silwani did very well to tip around the post, and they've had a couple of corner kicks, but for all the pressure they've had on here in the opening now 16.5 minutes in Fes, it is still goalless here. Live on Flash Score Official, as I say, it's my Mark Strange for bringing you this AFCON round of 16 clash. There's Onyeka, rolls it to Bassi, midway inside his own half. One of three Fulham men in this squad, of course, joined on the pitch by Iwobi, and also his club teammate Samuel Chukwueze is on the bench this evening for Eric Chele's men. A rather loaded bench for Nigeria. Like I said, you really do scratch your head and wonder how they haven't qualified for the World Cup, but once it gets to penalty shootouts in any game, you know that it's a complete lottery, and that's what happened against DR Congo less than 2 months ago. Here's Iwobi now on the halfway line. Good dummy from Lookman, gets Osimhen onto the ball. Onyeka, looking for Lookman, but only finding Langa, who then dummies Osimhen nicely before hammering that one down the right hand side now. And there's a chance, and Katamo, I could see what he was trying to do there, just trying to take that one in his stride, but in the end too heavy a touch, and Bassi's happy to let it run out for a goal kick. So Mozambique certainly have some outs here. They're you can see, I think he was almost trying to take it on his right foot and go on, but the ball just wouldn't quite travel. In the end, just bounced off his left shin and away out. That bench, by the way, for Nigeria, they've got their two goalkeepers, Francis Uzoho and Amas Obasogi. They've also got Zaidu, the Porto defender. Igo Ogbu, another defender, plays his club football for Slavia Prague. And they've got Lazio's Fisayo Deli Bashiru, Samuel Chukwueze, as I mentioned, Usman Mohammed, Moses Simon, Rafael Onyedika and Paul Unwachu, who actually were the goal scorers in the final group game, that 3-1 win over Uganda, the much-changed team. Onyedika getting 2 and Unwachu the other. Chidotse Awaziem, Chidera Ejuke, Salim Lawal, Ebenezer Akinsamiro and Tochukwu Nandi are the options on the bench for Nigeria. So plenty there for Eric Chele. For Conde Chiquinho, was largely a domestic-based bench for him. He's got Stanley Retifo, who plays in the lower leagues in Germany with Chemie Leipzig. among some others on there, but it is certainly his well to pull from if needed. It's certainly not as deep as Eric Chelly's. But Mozambique holding their own here as we're into the 20th minute of this one, goalless in Fes in the driving rain here this evening. That's a ball down the left looking for the run of Whitty, but it's too long from, I think that might have been Mex there. Plays his club football in Turkey for Keçiören Gücü. Here's a Iwobi in the centre circle now, formerly of Arsenal and Everton. No, lovely ball to find Adams, left corner of the penalty area. Adams back to Lookman, surely, yes, 1-0 to Nigeria. 20 minutes gone. It's Ademola Lookman with his third goal of the tournament. Brilliant setup there. Iwobi to Adams to Lookman in a first time finish. And the Mozambique defence is breached here on the 20-minute mark in Fes. A lovely goal from Lookman. And Nigeria have finally broken the back here of this Mozambique defence. Even the goalkeeper Stanley Nwabali was up to celebrate that one. It's a lovely slide rule ball from Iwobi to find the run of Akor Adams down the left hand side of the penalty area. He cuts it back to Lookman, who just side foots it coolly into the top corner. And now what do Mozambique have in response to that? As I mentioned, they weren't really subjected to too many big chances for Nigeria early in this one, and we're maybe starting to find their feet, but that will rock them. As I mentioned, this is the sixth meeting between the sides, and Mozambique haven't won any of the previous five, but they've all been tight games, so they'll be hoping to keep this one close. man dressed in all green as a priest in the Nigerian end there is enjoying himself. Their supporters in a rather sparsely populated complex sportif de Fes here. They're making all the noise. There's a foul there now though from Onyemeche on Katamo, and that's the last thing that Mozambique need, is for him to stay down. He's absolutely their talisman if they're to get back in this one. Onyemeche, I think, is saying, well, I won the ball, but his follow through was fairly strong on the Sporting forward, but he is back on his feet now. The ball's back with his goalkeeper Hernan Silwane. Plays his club football domestically for Black Bulls. Gets the ball back from Mexer. Ooh, and gives a risky pass to Guima. There's Nigerian players circling here, but Mozambique do manage to play it out to the left hand side, midway inside their own half for Langa. Looking for options ahead of him. Dominguez makes a run, but he slips, and Ajayi is able just to pickpocket him. Semi Ajayi now with a good ball down the right, looking for Adams. He's pacey, and a sliding challenge from Mandava puts that one out of play. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's both feet off the ground there, Renildo Mandava, but nowhere near Adams, so no foul given by the referee. But Frank Onyeka has miscontrolled that ball, and that's out for a throw in now to Mozambique. Throw in from Langa. And a foul this time by Ajay. Mozambique going quickly with Kalila over the halfway line for the Santa Clara man. Katamo, you fear that's the side where most of the pressure will come from for Nigeria. And Katamo forces a foul there off of Onyemeche, who is certainly not having it easy this evening. Bruno Onyemeche. You need to be careful he doesn't continue fouling it, there really is, or else he might fall foul of our Cameroonian official. Oh, there's a ball in behind for Mozambique. Oh, and a good challenge by Ajay. Ball in behind there for Faisal Bangal. He might have just been offside, but that was close, and Ajay with a really good challenge, and Stanley Nwabali having a word there with Calvin Bassey, I think maybe suggesting that his defender may well have fallen asleep there and allowed Bangal in behind, but it was his centre-half partner Ajay who made the challenge, and indeed a late flag did come up against the Mozambique forwards. It was a free kick regardless for Nigeria, but that's positive for the mighty Mambas that they're still sticking in this one. Osei Samuel. Onyeka. Back to Osei Samuel, and now to Ajay. Bassey. went somewhat viral on the team bus before this one. His Fulham teammate, I mentioned on the bench tonight, Samuel Chukwueze, ribbing him for a rather comical miss in the side's victory over Fulham in the Premier League recently. Bassi went the length of the pitch before ballooning the ball well over. And there's a ball now for Adams. Osimhen, that's not ballooned over, that's in the back of the net. Got on 25 minutes. Nigeria are starting to pull away here. Lookman picking out Osimhen this time. And it's the two main talismen for Nigeria, who have got them 2 goals to the good here inside 25 minutes. Eric Chele is looking calm on the sideline. His assistant not so much. He's giving a big hug. But Nigeria well in control of this tie now. 25 minutes gone. It's Nigeria 2, Mozambique 0. Just as I was talking about Calvin Bassey's comical miss for Fulham. One man in this team that doesn't miss too often is Victor Osimhen. It was Lookman sent away down the left-hand touchline. It was Adams at the front post. I'm not sure if he was the initial target. It went just behind him. Maybe took a nick as well, which took it away from Mandava. And there was Osimhen in behind, just to finish from about 6 yards. Cool as you like. And it's the Nigerian fans who are singing in the rain here in Fes. Nigeria 2, Mozambique 0. And boy, this game could very quickly get away from Mozambique if they're not careful. That's Victor Osimhen's second goal of the tournament after he scored in the 3-2 win over Tunisia on game day 2. Rested along with 9 of these players for the last game. Now he's trying to get in behind again, but Silwani does well to come off the line and beat him to it, and he immediately tries to set Bruno Langa away down the left hand side, but he's seized upon by Onyeka, who's got a real engine in him, the Brentford midfielder. However, a prone of a harsh tackle. If that was another one there, but he's got lucky because his captain Wilfred Ndidi had just been fouled before it. There's Nigeria out on the right hand side now. They'll say Samuel there looking really confident now. Say Samuel finds Osimhen with a glancing header, but that one will bounce wide of the post. Silwani gave it a cursory dive, but that one wasn't going to trouble him. But certainly the chance before for Osimhen buried did trouble him. And it's Conde Shaquinho, the Mozambique head coach, on the sideline. He's looking more troubled of the two. Eric Chele, well, he's still absolutely drenched, but standing looking cool with the hands in the pockets. And now Hernan Silwane is down, just stretching out his left leg, and that's not what Mozambique need. They have 2 goalkeepers on the bench, Kimis Savala and Ivan Urubal. So you maybe just overdo it there when you say we sort of made a dive towards that one from Osimhen. Maybe it was he's pushing off on his leg. He's maybe hurt himself there, but now we see Conde Shaquinho having a rather animated conversation with Guima and a couple of his other teammates on the sideline there. Meanwhile, on the Nigerian bench, things are looking a lot calm and cool. Lots of back patting and clapping as they lead this game by 2-0. Goals from Ademola Lookman and a second from Victor Osimhen. The difference between the sides. When we look at that one again, I said the initial target was perhaps a Core Adams. I think it does actually glance off the Sevilla striker on the way through to Osimhen. Not sure if that helps him or whether it makes any difference at all, but Osimhen, clinical as always. And after 28.5 minutes here in Fes, it's 2-0 to the Super Eagles, and Mozambique, who are here as one of the best third place teams in the group stage, are certainly staring down the barrel of a long evening. Now, good news is it appears that Hernan Silwane is looking like he's going to be able to continue for now anyway. And he's got Alphonse Amade with him there. Maybe not going to be able to take goal kicks, and that's the last thing you want. Well, he just rolls that one short to Amade, and Mozambique will come out from the back. Guima with a backheel flick, but given away, but then given straight back to Mozambique, and then given away again. Bassi on halfway was thinking about an optimistic ball, but instead just decides to play it safe and roll it back to centre half partner Semi Ajay. Now here's Alex Iwobi on halfway. Bassi. Ndidi. Iwobi. To Lookman. Left corner of the penalty area. Lookman. Onyemeche overlapping. Deep ball in there. It's hanging up there in the wind and rain. And Osimhen's going to keep it in. Drills it across goal. Mandava gets there before Adams, but he gives it away to say Samuel Dominguez sliding in the box, makes a good challenge. Everyone's sliding about. Osimhen wins the ball. Bruno Langa now challenging with Onyeka, who's won it back. Osimhen's in a heap on the floor. Onyeka's now down the ground, and after all that chaos, it's a free kick right on the touchline to Nigeria. But Victor Osimhen has stayed on the ground. That's not what Nigeria want to see. He went in for a challenge there with, I think it was Whitty who went in with him actually. And I think the Nacional man just unintentionally, I think, grazing Osimhen's his chest or his stomach with his studs on the way through. Just he hasn't put him, right down, like stamped on him. Just as he fell over him, he sort of grazed him with his studs. But Osimhen, mercifully for Nigeria, is okay. So we got a lovely overhead view of the complex Sportif de Fes here in northeast of Morocco. The rain's still hammering down. Let's go a free kick on the right hand side, roughly in line with the edge 18-yard box. It's going to be Animal Lookman. Who else to take it? The Atalanta man, two-man wall for Mozambique, made up of Dominguez and Whitty. And it comes deep ball from Lookman, too deep, but Bassi's going to chase it out onto the far side and will keep it in. Bassi faced up by Khalili. Goes back to Onyemeche. Now Iwobi midway inside the Mozambique half. That free kick peters out somewhat, but Nigeria still have the ball in the middle of the Mozambique half. Iwobi. Bassi stayed up there and delivers that ball in, headed away by Mexer. Back in by Ndidi. Osimhen hooks it on, looking for somebody. Ajay still hanging up there, and an overhead kick clearance in the end from Mexer. And Mozambique just cannot keep hold of the ball. Ndidi. Back to Onyeka. Now Iwobi. Ndidi to Osei Samuel. Bassi. Now Iwobi. That Fulham connection again on the halfway line for Nigeria. Nice pass for Lookman, who's in space immediately. Lookman finds Adams looking for Osimhen. Is punched away by Silwane. And Dominguez gets to it and he tried to flick it away only as far as Ndidi, but he blazes his shot way over the bar. 33 minutes, that spell of Nigerian pressure comes to an end, but it is largely one-way traffic here in Fez. Not the sort of traffic you want to see coming your way if you're a Mozambique player or fan, but Nigeria, heavy favourites coming into this one. And so far playing like it. Ernest Silwane, Hernan Silwane, my apologies, is going to send this goal kick long, perhaps putting aside that injury he was carrying earlier. Langa beats Osimhen to it. Dominguez. It's ball on the right hand side for Katamo. If anyone's going to get Mozambique back in this one, it's going to be him, but his pass infield there as well, cut out by Ndidi, but that's a foul on Amade. So free kick to Mozambique midway inside the Nigerian half as Abdou Mefire. There's a bit of a chuckle there with the Nigeria captain who was protesting that one. So free kick midway inside the half. We've got Diogo Khalili and Jani Katamo over this one for Mozambique. White and red shirts and dark green shirts lined up along the edge of the 18-yard box for them to aim at here. The rain easing somewhat here, but still rather nasty evening in northeast Morocco. In fact, I think the rain looks like it's stopped completely. Hard to tell. Let's go with delivery from Katam. Oh, and it did get through to the back post, and Bangal with a glancing header, but I think he's been flagged offside anyway. Glanced his header wide. Bangal just evading the clutches there of Wilfred Ndidi to glance that one towards goal. He also had Mexer coming round the back post there, so Mozambique causing a bit of havoc there with the set piece, but Nigeria surviving. Here's Iwobi now on halfway for the Super Eagles. Adams, Bassi, and Nia J. Iwobi. J. Now Bassi on halfway out on the left for Onyemeche. Iwobi. Nice flick there from Adams, but well read in the end by Mandava. That's going to be a free kick to Nigeria, fouled by Renildo Mandava. So 10 minutes plus any stoppage time to go here in the first half at the Complex Sportif de Fes. You're listening to live Africa Cup of Nations round of 16 action, live on Flash Score Official with me, Mark Strange. Delighted to have you along with me this evening, or whatever time of the day it is where you're listening. You're very welcome along. There's Nigeria holding a 2-0 lead. Goals from Ademola Lookman, the man taking the free kick, and Victor Osimhen. Here's Lookman's ball in. Good header away at the edge of the box. Comes through Iwobi. Ooh, and a curling dipping effort that again has Silwani scrambling but wouldn't dip enough. And over the bar from the Fulham man. And now look at this one. Lookman. It's well headed away by Langa, picked up by Iwobi, who did really well to bring that one down under control and then try and curl it into the top corner, but just couldn't get the required dip on it. Here's Guima. Short goal kick taken now to Mandava. Oh, and there's one back in the box here. Lookman. Oh, and I think he just overplayed that one. Well read by Mandava as he tried to find Adams, and away come Mozambique. Big let off there for Mozambique, who are playing with fire on the edge of their own penalty area, only for Ademola Lookman perhaps trying to play one pass too many. And now here comes Ndidi, and it's going to be a free kick given against Wilfred Ndidi for... Oh, he's actually going to be booked here. Clash between the two captains as Dominguez has ended up on the ground. There's maybe a claim of an elbow or a flailing arm from Ndidi as he tried to shake off the challenge of Dominguez. Getting our look now, but Ndidi, Wilfred, is the first man to go in the book. There was a strong challenge there between Bruno Langa and Bright Osei Samuel just before it, which the referee saw nothing wrong with, but yeah, that's pretty strong from Bruno Langa, but Abdou Mefre saw nothing wrong with it, but he cautions Wilfred Ndidi for catching Dominguez with an elbow there. And Ndidi still talking to the referee, I think more to the point saying that he should have blown it up for the foul just before, as the brass section is out in the Nigerian supporters. The trumpets are playing, the priest dressed in green is dancing, the drums are banging, and even a booking to their captain is not going to dull their enthusiasm this evening. It's a wet night here in the northeast of Morocco. So far the only spirits dampened a lot of Mozambique is Mandava. Ooh, a risky pass. Osimhen nearly got to it, but it gets back to Silwani. Now Mandava looking for options. Finds Amade. Now Dominguez. Dominguez now trying to send Bangal away down the left-hand touchline. Osei Samuel's there with him. Bangal holding off well, and Bruno Langa comes away. Good work there, but he just overruns it, and Semi Ajayi will win it back and gives it back to his goalkeeper, who stuttered and almost invited Whitty to come forward there, but away come the Super Eagles. Adams to Onyeka. Now Ajay on halfway for Nigeria. Ndidi to Iwobi. Ajay again. Nigeria just happy to control possession here as we approach the final 5 minutes of normal time here at the end of the first half. Bassi out to the left hand side. Good delivery there from Onyemeche. Mandava does well to get up ahead of Osimhen though, and Amade gets to it before Lookman. Amade will clear away down the left hand touchline. Did he keep it in? No, he didn't, so it's going to be a throw in to Nigeria midway inside the Mozambique half. Osimhen takes it quickly, clearly looking to get going here. Maybe he can get another goal in. No, they're going to leave it now for right to say Samuel. Throws into Lookman and gets it back. Now Bassi on halfway. By the way, if you haven't seen Calvin Bassi's miss for Fulham against Burnley, I would suggest you look it up. It's he's done the hard part, as they always say. He's danced around the defence like a slalom skier, and then at the very last he hammers it comically wide, which is met with that follow-up video of Samuel Chukwueze. Let's just say gently ribbing him as that ball nearly gets through for Adams, but he fouls Ronaldo Mandava in the process of trying to get there. So, as I mentioned, goals in minutes 20 and 25 from Ademola Lookman and Victor Osimhen are the difference between the sides here, but it's been largely one-way traffic. That's a miscontrol there from Adams, and Mexer will come away with it for Mozambique. Now one back though, it's Iwobi to Lookman, faced up by Guima. Now Osimhen, look for support in the right, and it arrives here through Osei Samuel, who's hurtling forward into the box. Good block though by Mandava. Osei Samuel will keep possession though and gets it back to Onyeka, who shimmies away from Dominguez. There's a 1-2 between Ajay and Ndidi, as Nigeria again just comfortable holding possession, and they'll go again here to try and pressure. Bassi back to Ajay. Now say Samuel. Ndidi. Nice touch there from Adams to Onyeka. And Mozambique under pressure, but they do get it away. Guima though runs into Adams, and now it's Ndidi. Lovely flick there from Onyemeche. And now it's with Iwobi midway inside the Mozambique half. Oh, dummy from Adams, but good interception by Mandava ahead of Osimhen, and now Mozambique can break it. Witty finds Katamo on the right hand touchline. Good touch. He's got Bassi in front of him now. Katamo, right hand corner of the penalty area. Janie Katamo. Oh, he's still going, Katamo, but Bassi's just too strong. Now Katamo almost cut inside him there. Really good work from the Sporting man, but the Fulham defender just strong and read it well. And now he's on the break himself. Up over halfway is Calvin Bassi. Loads of acreage in front of him here. He runs out a bit of room, or perhaps runs out a bit of puff, and lays it off for his club teammate Alex Iwobi. Now it's Lookman on the right hand side. He's waiting for Osei Samuel to make a run forward, but he's saying no thank you, so he goes back to Onyeka. Ndidi, the only man to be booked in this first half. Onyeka back to Wilfred Ndidi. Scoops out a pass there nicely out into the left hand touchline for Bassi, who is a centre half by trade, but of course can play full back, and he's playing like one here. Back to Iwobi. Iwobi dinks in, looking for Osimhen. Diving header clear there by Mandava. And Onyemeche will get to it midway inside the Mozambique half. Iwobi now. Nigeria just, as I said, happy to control possession. Onyeka. Bassi. 2 minutes plus stoppage time left at the end of this first half. Now here's Iwobi, and Nigeria just going to be like that anaconda. They'll just be quiet and then they'll strike, but good interception from Guima, as Iwobi tried to find Lookman, and Mozambique can't come away now with Langa. Tries to dummy away from Osimhen, can't do so instead has to lay it off for Amade. Now Mexer. Diogo Kalila. Goes back to Silwane. He's under pressure. Makor Adams. Silwane, does a bit of a Cruyff turn in his own 6-yard box. Hearts and mouths there, but he does get away. And Bruno Langa. Inside to Alphonse Amade. Clips one out onto the right-hand touchline. Kept in play nicely by Kalila on halfway. Katamu. Back to Kalila. Amade under pressure from Lookman, and he loses it. Now here come Nigeria. They're so good at that. It will be. Finds Adams, has Lookman ahead of him. Oh, lovely dummy from Adams. Makes space for a shot. Adams wide. And he had Lookman and Osimhen with him. I think it's taken a nick maybe, has it? No, it hasn't. Goal kick it is. But Nigeria just biting in there. Lovely dummy from Adams to get away from Mandava. And that one, just kissing the post almost on the way past from Akor Adams. But not enough for Nigeria's third. We'll see here in a moment what sort of added time we'll have. I've had a couple of stoppages for a couple of injuries, but I would imagine we'll get too long here. Kalila, indeed he intercepts, plus a throw into Mozambique on the right, midway inside their own half, which Jogo Kalila will come to take. 3 added minutes it is. So we're into those now. Jogo Kalila, one of 3 players to keep his place from that defeat to Cameroon, along with captain Dominguez and Janie Katamu. And here's Langa coming down the left-hand touchline. Good slide challenge there from Bright Osei Samuel, and Nigeria will try to break. Onyeka. Osei Samuel back to Onyeka, who's got Dominguez all over him, so he's forced to turn back towards his own goal, and passes to nobody really there. Langa. Good strong work there from Bangal. And he's fouled by Ajay. So free kick it is to Mozambique on the left-hand touchline, around 25 yards from goal. So if they can get a good set-piece delivery here, the mighty Mambas might have a chance to get on the score sheet and have this deficit going into the break. What a mental boost that would be to them. Stanley Nwabali, who has been largely a spectator in this one, organising his defence in front of him. We're a minute into the 3 added on here in Fes, where the rain has subsided, but it's still a rather sodden evening in the northeast of Morocco. Kalila dummies, he'll be a right-footed in-swinger. Katamu takes a left-footed right-swinger. It's difficult. Ooh, Navwali dives for it, leaves the goal open. It's not gone yet. Guima, too many green shirts in front of him, and it's hacked clear in the end. And now Nigeria will look to break with Lookman, who finds Adams. He's so pacey, but he's outnumbered here. Akor Adams, can he do it himself? Adams has a support arriving from Lookman. Silwani comes out. Lookman still has it. Silwani's out to the edge of the box nearly. Lookman digs out across for Osimhen. Down for Adams, and it's intercepted in Nigeria. Maybe again guilty of trying to overplay it, or maybe they had no other options there. A quick counter-attack there, but Mozambique for a moment had the goal gaping at their mercy, and there's a collision there between it's Guima for Mozambique, and I'm not sure who that is for Nigeria, completely off the ball, and the two of them have ended up in a heap on the ground, so we'll see what happened there. But as I mentioned, it was Mozambique had the goal at their mercy. A free kick delivery. Stanley Nwabali came out to punch it, didn't really get near it. He was on the ground. The ball broke for Guima. Well, that coming together is between Guima and Onyeka. Guima played the pass, went to move, and Onyeka just sort of stood in his way, but Guima right into his shoulder. He's not happy with the decision, but Frank Onyeka getting some of the magic spray on his calf or his ankle, perhaps, not sure. But a rapid counter-attack. Oh, it's going to be a yellow card here. I think it's going to be for, I'm not sure if it was for Onyeka or for somebody on the Nigerian bench who maybe protested a bit too hard. And Onyeka now doing a bit of finger wagging the face of Guima. So a first half that has been fairly placid, really. There's been no nastiness or malice. All of a sudden ending with a little bit of needle there. Onyeka perhaps suggesting that the midfielder who plays his club football for Zira in Azerbaijan may well have been overselling that foul, and now the Mozambique bench are getting rather animated here. And as I mentioned, a half that didn't really have much by way of needle is ending with a little bit of chaos here. So free kick is taken. We're over the 3 minutes now, but that will surely have eaten up a bit of time. Ooh, Silwani de Guima had Lookman on his shoulder, but he was at a sixth sense to hear him coming, and he clips it away to Diogo Kalina. Now Guima. Challenge there via Jay to win it back. Is there a chance for one more, or time for one more chance for Nigeria? No, says our official Abdu Mefre, and brings the first half to an end that has been largely one-way traffic, and 2 goals in 5 minutes midway through the half is the difference between the sides. Those goals coming from, well, guess who? The 2 real talismen in this talented Nigerian side, Ademola Lookman and Victor Osimhen. Mozambique struggled to get much going at the other end, so this game is very much in Nigeria's favour at the break. So at half-time in Fen. Mozambique make a double change at the break. One has seen their captain Dominguez, 42 years old, he's off. He's in replace by Manuel Kambala of Polokwane in South Africa. And also coming on is Nanani, who plays his club football for UD Songo in the local league. And he's replacing Diogo Kalila at right back, which perhaps suggests Kalila, who was a fitness doubt before this one, may well not quite be fit enough to do more than 45 minutes. So that's Nanani and Kambala on for Kalila and Dominguez. Here's Bassi now in the centre circle for Nigeria. Clips are out the left hand touchline. Nigeria are unchanged from the first half. They've got Nabwali in goal. Across the back then Osei, Samuel, Ajayi, Bassi, Onyemeche, but we'll get back to that in a minute as Lookman now is at the byline. Oh, he gets a lucky bounce, he's still going. Lookman for a narrow angle, that's probably his 3. It's Osimhen with his second. 90 seconds into the second half, and well, that is an absolute killer blow to Mozambique. This game was already looking like it was getting away from them, but Victor Osimhen combines with Ademola Lookman again, and they make it 3-0 here. Less than 2 minutes into the second half. Lookman, he does get a fortunate bounce off a couple of Mozambique defenders, and he gets to the byline, cuts it back, and there's Osimhen, much like his first, one of the simplest finishes he'll ever have, and the man in the mask gets his second and Nigeria's third. It is really bad luck there. It's off the new man Nanani, and Langa tries to get in the way, but Osimhen with the finish at the back post. And that will surely now secure the Super Eagles place in the quarterfinals. Not 2 minutes into the second half. Nigeria 3, Mozambique 0. I was running through the teams there for you. It's Mwabali in goal for Nigeria. And so Sei, Samuel, Ajayi, Bassi, Onyemeche. And then midfielders Ndidi, Onyeka, Iwobi. With those two, Lookman and Osimhen, who have been so awesome today, as they always are, in our front three, along with Akor Adams, who has played his part. But it's the goals now double for Osimhen, adding to Lookman's opener. And Mozambique are surely staring down the barrel of an exit here. Their side, their lineup now in goal is Silwane, is Nanani, Mandava, Mexer, Langa, Amadi, Guima, Kambala, Witty, Katamo and Bangal. They're in all white with red trim, Nigeria. And all, I'm not sure, I don't quite make out if it's all black or all dark green with light green and luminous green design on it. Another funky looking shirt. Nigeria, who have become one of the front runners for fashionable international shirts in recent years. This is another example of it. Very nice outfit for them. Mozambique, this is their change strip, usually in red shirts, black shorts, red socks, but all in white with the red trim tonight. Ball clipped forward there down the right hand touchline, and for that man Janie Katamo, the sporting forward, who really is the catalyst for this Mozambique side. He scored 2 of their 4 goals in the group stage, but tonight has been kept quiet by this Nigerian defence. That looked like a foul throw there from Onyemeche. You don't really see him called very often. Throws it into Ndidi, his captain, who, along with Frank Onyeka, was booked in the first half by our Cameroonian official Abdou Mefre. There's a little bit of argy-bargy at the end of the first half. Onyeka and Guima that saw the Brentford midfielder pick up that booking in stoppage time, but that doesn't look like it's carried on in the second half, or if it did, that third goal certainly has quashed a lot of it. And that's exactly the start to the second half Eric Chele's men have been looking for. There's Bassi coming forward now, trying to hold off a challenge of Guima. Onyemeche, the Olympiacos fullback. Nanani there gets squashed between Bassi and Onyemeche, so it's a free kick to Mozambique on the right hand side, midway inside their own half. And well, Nigeria, who, as I mentioned before, will not be going to next summer's World Cup in North America. A shock qualifying exit for them after losing on penalties in the final playoff game to the Democratic Republic of Congo. Silwane, well, that's a poor one. Mexer was looking to pass, Adams was closing it down, and it's out of play. So Nigeria, one of the favourites for this Africa Cup of Nations. That may well soften the blow of not making it to the big dance next summer. Here's Adams. Ghana, on the other hand, didn't qualify for AFCON but are at the World Cup. Funny how things work. Here's Lookman again. Cuts it back. Finds Osei Samuel, who side foots it wide, and well, Nigerian players are just queuing up for that one, and could that well be how this second half goes? Ademola Lookman is just scything through this Mozambique defence, and he found the Birmingham City fullback Bright Osei Samuel, who they had Osimhen with him, and he tried a right-footed, side-footed effort that just skimmed low past the post of Hernan Silwane, who plays for the Black Bulls, the current champions of the Mozambique Premier League. Now here's a chance down the middle for Mozambique. It's Katamo, it's deflected, and it's going to be kept in. It's not even going to reach it for the corner kick. Onyemechi will keep it in. My apologies, it wasn't Jenny Katamo, that was Faisal Bangal down the middle. And it was blocked in the end, and the deflection spinning up into the air and kept in, and that time there's a foul by Nanani on Ndidi, and that's a free kick for Nigeria. So a glimmer of a chance there for Mozambique, but quickly shut down by this Nigerian defence, who, despite winning all three group games, have yet to keep a clean sheet in the tournament. 2-1 against Tanzania, 3-2 against Tunisia, and 3-1 against Uganda. Here's Osimhen. I'm sure Eric Chele will be hoping his defence can keep out the mighty Mambas for the rest of this one. 52 minutes gone here in Fes, where the rain was pouring down much of the first half. It's stopped now, but Mozambique are certainly feeling rather damp in this one. As there's a foul there on Bruno Onyemechi by Nanani. The man brought off the bench at half time there at right back, and yeah, he's certainly had a grasp of Bruno Onyemechi. So, well, more concern here for Mozambique. Hernan Silwane is down. He went down in the first half, citing a sore knee. I think that's what he's doing again. So not only are Mozambique 3 goals down, but they may well be losing their number one goalkeeper. They've got Kimis Zavala and Ivan Urabal. Ivan Urabal currently a free agent, not attached to a club. One would imagine it would be Kimis Zavala. Who plays his club football in Portugal with Marítimo, but 21-year-old more often than not plays for their B team. He is getting warned, but looks like Silwane is going to get the knee strapped up here, and will hopefully look to play on here for Mozambique's sake. Indeed, a good bit of strapping on that left knee. Whether that will see him through to the end of this one, we don't know, but he is now being helped to his feet. Yes, testing out that knee, gives a nod of the head. He's good to go, and the first thing he's going to have to do then is try and keep out the free kick here. It's going to be delivered from the left hand side by who else but Ademola Lookman. He's had a wonderful evening. The Atalanta forward, the reigning African Footballer of the Year. He's over this one with Onyemechi, who'll be the left-footed out-swinging option. Lookman right hand in the air, bodies gathered around the penalty spot. Lookman dummies, it is going to be Onyemechi. It's a poor delivery, scuffed it, but as is the clearance, it's not gone yet. Ndidi, and eventually hooked away there by Amade. And Osei Samuel has to go back to the halfway line to get it. And now it's won back by Nigeria, but no foul by Semi Ajayi. And Mozambique are on the go. They look to get back into this game. They've had flickering glimpses of goal, but nothing much else in the first 55 minutes. There's a good ball in, and Nanani was coming to the back post, but Nwabali read that one well. The goalkeeper plays his club football in South Africa for Chippa United. Long ball down the field looking for Adams, is well read by the Sunderland defender Renildo Mandava. And he goes back to Silwane. It's not his kicking leg at least, but he's a standing leg, and he hammers that one right footed down the field. It's now back with Guima. Bruno Langa, playing in club football on loan in Cyprus with Paphos, his parent club in Spain, Almeria. And there's Alphonse Amade, plays under Neil Lennon in Scotland with Dunfermline. Here's Nanani. Plenty of touches for him since coming off the bench. Now Whitty goes down the right hand side, the Nacional winger. Turns away from Onyemechi, digs out a left footed cross. That's just go adrift into the gloves of Nobali, the Nigeria keeper, all in purple this evening. He throws that one overarm like a throw-in to Osei Samuel down the right-hand side. He then gets Onyeka going. I'd imagine now with a rather comfortable lead and likes of Onyeka and Ndidi on a booking, Eric Chelle might turn to his bench. There's plenty of talent there. And he did make 9 changes from the side that beat Uganda in the final group game, having already qualified. Only Calvin Bassey and Bruno Onyemechi kept their place in the side today. The 2 goal scorers in that game, the double scorer Rafael Onyedika and Paul Onuachu, are both on the bench. Onyedika of Club Brugge and Onuachu of Trabzonspor. There's a foul by Bruno Langa on Brentford's Frank Onyeka, just inside the Mozambique half. And now it's taken quickly. And there's space here for Adams. Drills across goal. Oh, spilled by Silwani. It's going to drop for Lookman. Can he finish? No, he drags it wide. Wow. Well, you'd expect the net to bulge there. As Bright Osei Samuel go down the right hand side. And the free kick was taken quickly. The referee happy with it. Osei Samuel drilling it low. Silwani spilled it. Osimhen couldn't react in time. Lookman did, but he drags his effort wide. I think Osimhen was thinking about trying to get a touch on it, but was offside. And in the end, Lookman's effort just spins away from goal. Mozambique players claiming that when that ball rebounded off Hernan Silwani, it hit Osimhen on the hand, but in fact I think the referees agreed here and actually given a free kick after all that. So Silwani will take, clips it forward right footed. Right there for Whitty, who runs into Iwobi. That's a hand by the Fulham man. Free kick to Mozambique, and they're ready to go here now. Nanani. Right to Mexer, the man who's took the captain's armband after Dominguez was taken off at half time. He's centre half. Long ball forward there, but Onyemechi goes back to Bassey. And now Nobali. And onto the right hand side there for Bright Osei Samuel. He gets that one away down the right hand touchline, midway inside his own half. Here's Mozambique in possession now with Guima. Loose pass from him, picked off by Onyemechi, and now Iwobi. Oh, ball straight down the middle there. That's a simple one, but here's Onyeka to Lookman. Lookman still going, still has it in the box. Lookman under pressure from Mandava, but he keeps it, tries to flick it towards Osimhen, and Mexer and Kambala get in the way. And Nigeria are robbed of a chance for a 4. There's Kambala to Nanani. Down the right hand touchline he goes. Going to be another sub here for Mozambique, but not before Ndidi wins that one back. Adams tries to flick it on, but Osimhen's offside and he knows it. That sub is going to see Chamito join us here very shortly. Plays for Chavez in the Portuguese second tier. We'll clip down the line there, but nobody in white can get to it. And it's back from Bassey to Nwabali. An hour gone here now in Fez, the Complex Sportif de Fez, the city known as the Mecca of the West, the Athens of Africa, the city with the oldest known university in the world. Adams is going to hit one from range. That's dipping away, and it's Nigeria who have been studious today. They're the top students, that's for sure. Chimito is coming on here for Witty. The Nacional winger really struggled to get into things here this evening. I'll have much of his teammates in fairness, but his race is run after an hour, and Chimito is on here to see if he can make an impact, but is it too little too late for the mighty Mambas, who are 3 goals down here in Nigeria, 2-0 down at half time, and Victor Osimhen with his second of the game less than 2 minutes after the break was a real hammer blow. He really felt that they needed to score the next goal, Mozambique, to make anything of this one. I think that Faisal Bangal is going to be the first Mozambique player into Abdou Mefri's notebook. He is indeed, for just a bit of a cynical tug back there on Calvin Bassey as the Fulham defender. More he tried to take his shirt off him there as Bassey tried to get forward, but Bangal is booked for his troubles, and there's Iwobi. Gets us going again for Nigeria. Say Samuel now midway inside the Mozambique half. Goes back to Semi Ajayi. And now Bassey. On Yameche. Under pressure in Guima, but he skips away from him, and he's just sort of going laterally there on Yameche, and he'll find bright Osei Samuel. Down the line for Adams, who turns away from Mandava, and now Osei Samuel takes over towards the penalty area. Adams and Onyeka, neither of them go for it. Onyemechi's in there. There's a lot of green shirts again. Onyemechi on the edge of the box with a shot. Diving block in front of him there by Mexer. It'll drop for Lookman, left corner of the penalty area. Now indeed to Iwobi. There's Osei Samuel, right corner of the penalty area. Delivers, deflected, corner. 63 minutes gone. And Nigeria are just keeping that pressure up here. Osimhen not happy there. Perhaps that ball wasn't delivered to him sooner, but he does have a corner. He's on a hat-trick. He is absolutely furious here, Victor Osimhen, with Ademola Lookman. The two of them nearly going forehead to forehead there. They have been a great duo this evening, scoring the 3 goals, and Lookman scoring one, setting up the other 2, but for whatever reason there, Victor Osimhen not happy with Ademola Lookman. I thought initially it might have been a bright Osei Samuel who he thought he should have delivered earlier, but Eric Shelley there shouting Victor Osimhen's name. And he's gesturing back at the bench. What he's saying, I'm not quite sure. But Victor Osimhen, a man on a hat-trick, his side are 3-0 up, but he is not happy with something. That's going to be a right-footed right-swing corner from Ademola Lookman. In it comes. Osimhen does win the header, but it's bounced down into the gloves of Silwane, who makes a save. Certainly Victor Osimhen's body language is not good. And I said that Eric Shelley might look to his bench just to rest a few players. He might look to his bench maybe just to calm Victor Osimhen down. I don't know what he was so angry about. Here come Mozambique though with Bangal. Nanani overlapping. He's in the right-hand corner of the penalty area. Deep delivery in. That's going to be too deep, and Chimito was drifting to the back post, but easy take there for Stanley Nobali. He then drops the ball at his feet. And almost charged down by Chimito, but he gets it away. Guima locking horns again there with Onyeka. Onyeka, 1-2 there between him and Onyemechi, and away he goes down the left hand side. Adams now, loads of space down there on the left, and Osimhen is not busting a gut to get in the box at all, but Adams doesn't need him. Good save by Silwane. Iwobi's going to get to it. Osimhen is still just walking towards the edge of the box. Just dreadful body language and dreadful effort from the Galatasaray man. I was going to say Akor Adams didn't need him. Good save though by Hernan Silwane to deny him. Now it's with Onyemechi to Lookman, left corner of the penalty area. He has Osimhen in the middle now, and Adams. Onyemechi overlapping. He gets to the byline, cuts it back. Onyeka, Adams, neither of them can get it towards goal. And the rebounded ball is picked up on by Silwani, who immediately launches one down there for Janie Katamu to go for, but he can't get in the end of it. And now Iwobi finds Ndidi. Onyeka, midway inside Mozambique half. In fact, to Bassi on halfway. Iwobi. Flick on by Adams to Lookman. Osimhen again, just strolling to get into the box. Lookman finds Iwobi. No, he doesn't. Slightly too long. But it took a touch off a white-shirted defender. And we're going to have a fourth Mozambique change before we have our first Nigerian one. And this one's going to see the Chemie Leipzig striker Stanley Retifo, who's going to replace Faisal Bangal. Striker who plays his club football, as mentioned, in the 4th tier in Italy. And now he also plays down in the leagues in Germany. But it's a corner for Nigeria, taken by Ademola Lookman. Victor Osimhen is in the middle. He's actually bothered to get in there this time. Bangal just walks nearly in front of Lookman as he goes to take the corner, so he's told to hurry on by the referee, and now Lookman will take this corner. Right-footed in-swinger to the back post. It's knotted down by Ajay and wide. He and his centre-half partner Calvin Bassi went for that one, but I think it was the Hull City man Semi Ajay who got a touch on it, and now Hernan Silwani's holding his shoulder. The poor Mozambique goalkeepers who threw the wars this evening. Ajay might have been better leaving that one for Bassi. Ajay glanced almost behind him, whereas Bassi was attacking that one. And Victor Osimhen's evening is in fact done. I said that they might turn to the bench, and turn to the bench they have. Really poor attitude from Victor Osimhen, but he is the man here for Nigeria. Double goal scorer. And after the first goal, it was all smiles to Ademola Lookman. He had Lookman set him up for the second one as well. But whatever had happened in between times, Victor Osimhen was not a happy man. And perhaps being taken off to rest him, or perhaps as a bit of a punishment for that poor body language. Either way, he's replaced by the Paris FC striker Moses Simon for the last 22 minutes here in Fes. It's one great striker exits, another enters, so more for the Mozambique defence to deal with. They're certainly not getting a rest, that's for sure. Free kick it is to Nigeria on the right hand side, midway inside their own half. Bright Osei Samuel is there. Plays it short to Alex Iwobi. Back to Osei Samuel. Down the line there looking for Adams, but too long for him. Simon will chase, but it's back with Silwani. And that clearance from Langa comes off Onyeka. Throw in on the right hand side, midway inside their own half for Mozambique, who are struggling to get anything going here. In response, that third goal right after the less than 2 minutes after half time really was a hammer blow for Conde Chiquinho's men, and there's an offside now against Retifo. So free kick it is to Nigeria on the left hand side, midway inside their own half. So coming up in the African Cup of Nations, we've got two more. The last two round of 16 fixtures for you tomorrow. As Nigeria come forward here, more than that in a minute. Osei Samuel. Over the top for Onyeka, right corner of the penalty area. Frank Onyeka. Back to Bright Osei Samuel. Wilfred Ndidi, and well, far too deep across there for everybody. That's a goal kick, so that gives us a chance then to let you know then tomorrow both of these games live again with commentary for Flash Score Official. These times all UK times, 4 p.m. It's Algeria versus the Democratic Republic of Congo. And then tomorrow evening a late game, same time as this one was tonight, 7 p.m. UK time, is Ivory Coast against Burkina Faso. for the last two spots in the quarterfinals so far. In those quarterfinals, we've got Mali versus Senegal and Cameroon versus Morocco. It looks as though now Nigeria may well go through to face Egypt, who needed extra time earlier to beat Benin. I wouldn't imagine there's going to be such problems here for Nigeria. Simon in the box now on the left. Iwobi. Ndidi running onto it, but Iwobi's pass just overhit slightly, so Ndidi has to go back and rescue it. Osei Samuel drills in low. Mandava gets to it, waits for his goalkeeper to come, is blocked by Adams, and eventually does get into the arms of Silwani, who... Something words to the referee, but there is an offside flag there. I think he's maybe complaining that it came a little bit late, and a wry smile from the Black Bulls goalkeeper, the domestic champions in Mozambique. So we've got just over 20 minutes left here now. So just under 20 minutes left, I should say. Here in Fez. Guima under pressure from Lukman on his nearly inside his own penalty area. He's been forced right back. Oh dear me, and Guima has to do a back heel to keep that one in. Mexer clips it down the line for Nanani, under pressure from Iwobi, and a foul by Iwobi. Didn't need to do that one. Mozambique were creating problems themselves there, and he just gave them an outlet. So down the left-hand touchline come Mozambique. Now here they are. The possible option there. Overhit pass though, and it's not going to be kept in by Nanani. He nearly takes out the linesman in the process, trying to slide to keep that one in. So Bruno Onyemeche will take this throw in left hand side. It's getting the wind is picking up here now again. No rain, but there's a windy evening in the northeast of Morocco. Onyemeche looking for options. He's going to be told to hurry on here. The Olympiacos fullback, and he does, but I don't know if the wind caught that one or not, but it takes one bounce away from Akor Adams and out for a throw in. So midway inside the Nigeria half now, Nanani has a throw in for Mozambique, which he'll take almost right beside his head coach, Kondo Chiquinho, who has been animated all evening long despite his side's struggles. Long throw in, flicked on by Ratifo, and he gets to the second ball. Langa now just outside the penalty area. Guima. Now Kambala. And Chamito. Back to Kambala, midway inside the Nigerian half. Guima. Sends on there to Mexer. And now Katamu. Can the Sporting winger do anything with this one? Nice pass into the box for Guima. Still plenty of black and green shirts back though for Nigeria. He'll send it back for Mexer. His ball in is drilled low and can't be controlled by Katamu. Now Akor Adams is one-on-one with Mandava. What can he do here? A couple of Mozambique defenders coming back, but good work from Renildo Mandava. The Sunderland man there stood up strong to Akor Adams, and the Sevilla striker just couldn't get past him. Good strong play there from Onyemeche. He's wanting the free kick, but it's a throw into Mozambique. 15 minutes to go on the right hand side. Katamu to Guima. Opens it up onto the left hand side for Bruno Langa. He's got room. What can he do? Delivers a ball in. Not a bad one, but can't be controlled by Chamito. And away come Nigeria here now. Adams and now Simon has Lukman with him. Nigerian fans in the stadium here getting excited. Moses Simon. Adamola Lukman, Akor Adams, right hand side of the penalty area. Adams beats his man, drills one into the roof of the net. And that's number 4 for Nigeria. And it's Akor Adams who gets it. He kisses the badge on his shirt. And he adds this lead here for Nigeria. 15 minutes to go, a stunning finish. High into the roof of the net from Akor Adams. And Nigeria extend their lead here. And it is going to be a comfortable passage into the quarterfinals for the Super Eagles. They have done a very professional job here on the mighty Mambas, as the Sevilla striker Akor Adams rifles that one into the roof of the net. Quick breakaway between him and Simon. Lookman joined in as Lookman with the assist again. Brilliant work from Adams just to shift his body away from Manuel Kambala. Make room for the shot. Still from a narrow angle, but he rifles it so hard and so high into the roof of the net. Hernan Silwani didn't have a chance. Nigeria 4, Mozambique 0. Akor Adams joins the party here of goal scorers in Fes. That's Adams' first goal of the tournament. And a goal I'm sure he'll savour. And many here inside the stadium I can see in Fes, perhaps some of the neutrals or perhaps some Mozambique fans that have come in here are heading to the exits. They've seen enough. There's nothing left to play for in this game now. If it wasn't over already, Akor Adams' fourth goal certainly seals it. Now here's Iwobi. Say Samuel to Adams. Lovely skill to get past Kambala again. He cuts it back looking for Lookman, but Mandava gets in the way. Langa, and luckily for him he was fouled there by Onyeka inside his own penalty area, so Mozambique can clear their lines. Hernan Silwane, he could do nothing about that goal, but he's given that one away straight to Onyeka. Lookman comes back low, just wide. Silwani watched it go wide of the post. Ademola Lookman drills that one low and hard. The goalkeeper statuesque, but it won't go in. And we're going to see another Nigeria sub here in a minute. It looks like Rafael Onyedika, the Club Brugge man, who, as I mentioned, scored 2 in the final group game win over Uganda. Looks like he's getting ready to come on here. Hernan Silwane having some strong words to some of his defenders there. I mean, with all due respect to him, it was his terrible clearance to Frank Onyeka that gave Ademola Lookman that chance. But anyway, he's certainly, and he's still giving it to his defenders, and in the end just hammers it long. I'm not really sure what that was all about. Bassi beats Chamito in the air. Here's Guima in the centre circle now for the mighty Mambas. Kambala, Mandava, Onyeka wins it back. Now Moses Simon for Nigeria. Claims of handball, but he's going to continue. The Paris FC striker. Moses Simon, oh, lovely turn from Simon. Still twisting, turning. Oh, lovely inside ball to find Onyeka to the back post. Deflected away from Adams. He's claiming a hand. Nothing coming, though, from the referee. And Bruno Langa will jog it away here down the left for Mozambique. Onyemecha gives it away. Sorry, wins it back. Finds it Iwobi now. Simon trying to go away from Nanani. 1-2 with Onyeka. Simon. It's going to be a double change here for Nigeria. Can't quite make out who the other man is. I think one of them is Rafael Onyedika. It's back now with Stanley Nobali on the edge of his own penalty area. Given away though in midfield by Osei Samuel, and Guima has it back now from Mozambique. Approaching the last 10 minutes here at the Complex Sportif de Fes as Nigeria are cruising through to the Africa Cup of Nations quarterfinals, where they'll meet Egypt, who needed extra time to beat Benin earlier today. No such troubles for the Super Eagles here, as that long ball through goes straight into the gloves of Nobali. Indeed. A J. And now Onyeka, as Nigeria just bring things down to walking pace. And it's with Iwobi on halfway. Just a rather damning statistic here. Nigeria 8 shots on target, Mozambique 0. That just about shows the level of dominance here and inability for Mozambique to get anything going. It will be to Ndidi. Adams, good challenge by Mandava. Silwani will clear. There's been a couple of subs waiting to come on here now for about 5 minutes. The ball hasn't gone to play. We haven't had any stoppages. Here's Ndidi. He goes down under a challenge from Amade, and that will bring about a free kick, and that will bring about some changes. So the first one then is going to see, well, actually it's going to be a change to the goalkeeper. The goalkeeping change here for Mozambique. I mentioned that Hernan Silwani was struggling somewhat earlier, and he's going off to be replaced by a man who is currently unattached, no club, but Ivan Urabal is coming on here for Mozambique in place of Hernan Silwani, who certainly has not done himself a disservice this evening. And our sub here now for Nigeria, the first one is going to see Frank Onyeka replaced by the Lazio man Fisayo Deli Bashiru, and the other man I mentioned, the Club Brugge forward, already scored 2 in this tournament, Rafael Onyedika. He's coming on for, I believe it's Wilfred Ndidi. So the 2 men that have been booked for Nigeria are coming off. So that's a change in goal there for Mozambique, with Urabal replacing Silwani. And for Nigeria, a double change. Sees Ndidi and Onyeka off, and Deli Bashiru and Onyedika on for the last roughly 8 minutes here in Fes, as Eric Chele looks to his bench. And Hernan Silwani was struggling a little bit with that knee earlier, and perhaps now knowing that this game is beyond gone, giving Ivan Urabel his shot and goal here. But now he's going to have a chance here immediately for Nigeria. No, cleared away. It's Onyedika who got to the byline just after coming off the bench there, but couldn't put the finishing touches on that one. It will be. Just pass there from Ajay. He puts Basti under pressure from Latifo, but gets it back to his goalkeeper. Speaking of goalkeeper, you can just now see Hernan Silwani making his way back to the bench. There's Osei Samuel. Deli Bashiru. Ajay. Deli Bashiru again. Back to Iwobi on halfway. Plays a quarterback style pass out onto the right, looking for Moses Simon, but Nanani will get to that one. Maxer's pass was picked off by Onyemeche. Back to his goalkeeper Nobali. Long one forward. Simon and Guima go for that one. And that's Kambala. Loose pass picked up one by Ajay, and now Iwobi. And back to Bassi, midway inside the Nigerian half. 6 minutes to go here. The Complex Sportif de Fes and Nigeria are just strolling into the quarterfinals. 2 goals either side of the half. Lookman and Osimhen in the first, Osimhen and Adams in the second. Although Victor Osimhen subbed off with after seemingly having a bit of a row with Ademola Lookman, despite the 2 of them combining for the first 3 goals together. But now going forward here, Simon, he and Nanani will challenge that one at the byline, and it's Moses Simon who is actually wearing the captain's armband since Wilfred Ndidi went off, who fouls the Mozambique fullback. And we're going to see that the last 2 subs here for Nigeria. We'll see Samuel Chukwueze and Paul Onwachu coming on. The first sub, we'll see Chukwueze replace Akor Adams, the man who added the 4th goal for Nigeria. The Sevilla striker makes way for the Fulham man. That's now 3 Fulham men on the pitch as Samuel Chukwueze comes on, and Ademola Lookman is the next man to be withdrawn And he's replaced by Paul Onwachu. So that's Onyedika and Onwachu, who both scored in the win over Uganda. They're both on. But those subs then, just to remind you, it's Chukwueze and Onwachu on for Adams and Lookman, as Eric Chelle rests a few legs ahead of the quarterfinals. Here's Onyedika in the centre circle. Bassi. 1-2 of the Wobie, the two from Fulham, just playing a bit of keep ball there between themselves. They've now got their third Cottager in the lineup. A Wobie with a bit of a ropey back pass there, but Nobali gets back to it, no problem. Sends that one long. Langa. It's back to the goalkeeper. Onwachu is a very tall man, the big Trabzonspor striker. Tries to charge down Ivan Urabal, the substitute goalkeeper for Mozambique, who replaced Hernan Silwane, who looked to have been struggling from early on this one with a knee injury. It made it all the way to the 80th minute, but Urabal brought on just to finish this one off. He will be. Onyedika out onto the left touchline for Simon, who takes that one down nicely on the chest. Overlapping here now, Deli Bashiru. Lovely touch from Deli Bashiru. Back to the edge of the box for Onyedika, who just can't keep his effort down. Head and hands from the Club Brugge man, but just a little bit too high to trouble Urabal. Good link up there between three of the subs: Simon, Deli Bashiru and Onyedika. That's back with Urabal. And then Mexer sends that one long, looking for Retifo, who does well and wins a free kick off of Calvin Bassi. Good work there from the Chemie Leipzig forward. And Mozambique were thinking of going quick there, but Guima will just slow them down. Guima back to Mexer. Amade headed away by Ajay, picked up by Kambala in the centre circle. Langa, Chukwueze closing him down, but he plays it inside. Now Katamo. 2 minutes plus stoppage time remain here in Fez. Guima on the right hand side, dummies across, back to Katamo, who has been kept quiet by the Nigerian defence today. He was the man you would think, if Mozambique were to create anything, it would come through him, as Bassi just hammers that one away on the edge of the box. Mandava down to Mexer. Looks for the run of Katamo, but well read there by Onyemeche. And now Iwobi, midway inside his own half. Onwachu, towering figure of Paul Onwachu, who hammers into a tackle there and wins it back, and it's now back with the goalkeeper Nwabali. Ajay. Now Onyedika. Iwobi. Is there still time for one more goal in this one for Nigeria? Do they want another one? Or are they just quite happy to control possession for the rest of this one? Here's Dele Bashiru. To Onyedika. He's a sort of talent you're bringing off the bench that really shows the gulf in class between these sides. Mozambique have been all heart tonight, but really have offered precious little going forward. Nigeria haven't allowed them to offer anything going forward. Now Semi Ajayi wants to get forward here. Chukwueze on the left hand touchline for Simon, left corner of the penalty area. Moses Simon. Simon delivers a deep cross, and well, Paul Onwachu is tall, but he ain't that tall, and that one's going to drift out for a goal kick. So we're going to see what sort of added time we'll have here very shortly in Fez. You'd imagine Abdou Mefre might just want to get this one in the books. Nigeria have strolled to victory here this evening, while not completely cutting apart the mighty Mambas all the time. They really have strolled. 3 out of minutes it will be. We're into that now. There's a Wobi. Poor touch there by Onyemeche, who in his frustration just hammers that ball away. Nanani with a throw in. Retifo. Tifo won back there by Bassi, but illegally so, says Abdou Mefre. The Fulham defender disagrees. That's a free kick just inside Nigerian half for Mozambique. Guima to Mexer. Guima. Mandela. Mexer again. Mexer, 1 minute into the 3 added on here. Mexer looks for the pass. Flicked on there, but picked off by Simon. And he's going to have a run at the Mozambique defence. Moses Simon. Left corner of the penalty area, turns away from Guima. Chukwueze has on Nacho in the middle, takes it down the chest. Paul Onuachu. We'll say Samuel now, right corner of the penalty area. Deep delivery from him, and it's a save. Good save by Urabal at the back post. Moses Simon drifting in. That could so easily have been 5, but Ivan Urabal keeps it out at his near post. Good save from the Mozambique replacement goalkeeper. Onuachu and Simon both went for that, and it was the Paris FC striker who got the touch at the back post, but saved by the shins of the knees of Ivan Urabal. And now Mozambique are coming forward. Is there one last chance in them to get a little bit of pride back here? It's been an historic tournament for them. Their first win at AFCON, their first knockout round appearance, but it became pretty clear this will be as far as they were going. Simon now on halfway in the centre circle. Into the last minute of added time here in Fes. Dele Bashiru is muscled out of that one. Here's Retifo, and he's pulled back by Bassi, and even though we've just seconds remaining, he's going to be booked for that one. So free kick it is for Mozambique. And it looks like they may well get the last play in this game. And Nigeria will have one more set piece to defend to keep that first clean sheet of the tournament. Mentioned wins 2-1, 3-2 and 3-1 in the groups. So Eric Chele and his defence will want to keep this one a clean sheet, and indeed they do. Mozambique can't even get the ball into the box, and it's a comfortable stroll in the rain here in Fes for Nigeria. A double for Victor Osimhen, with goals either side of it from Ademola Lookman and Akor Adams is the difference here. Osimhen, well, he left the game having a bit of a strop despite his 2 goals and despite his side stroll, and as soon as the final whistle blows, he's straight off the bench and straight down the tunnels, and maybe more to that. That's maybe the only blot on Nigeria's copybook, particularly the man who scored 50% of their 4 goals seems to have fallen out with somebody or something. But it's all over here at the Complex Sportif de Fes. Nigeria will face Egypt in the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations. It's finished here. Nigeria 4, Mozambique 0. I've been Mark Strange for Flash Score Official. Thanks for joining.